Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're a focused learner looking to finally stop hunting for random, shiny new apps, because let's face it, we all have a graveyard of unused, forgotten productivity tools sitting on our desktops, and you instead want to build a cohesive, practical AI system, well, you're in the exact right place. We're shifting away from just talking about artificial intelligence like it's some trendy buzzword, and actually looking at how high-level professionals use it to systematically reclaim their time. Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for this. We're covering 5 key areas. First, the multi-tool mindset. Second, Phase 1, prep and learn. Third, Phase 2, create and polish. Fourth, we'll hit on common mistakes. And finally, number 5, building your new daily routine.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the multi-tool mindset. Before we dive into any specific applications, we absolutely need to establish the golden rule of modern productivity. You see, the biggest amateur mistake in the AI space right now is trying to force one single AI to do absolutely everything. I mean, you wouldn't hire a plumber to wire your house, right? Yet people constantly try to make one single AI model research, write, design, and edit. It's the classic jack-of-all-trades, master-of-none trap. But the pro approach? It is completely different. Artificial intelligence becomes exponentially more powerful when you combine specialized tools into a structured workflow. You really have to let each tool perform the specific task it does best. Combining their unique strengths is what actually saves you massive amounts of time and, quite frankly, drastically improves the quality of your final output.
Moving right along to Section 2, Phase 1, Prep and Learn. Let's start breaking down our 8-step workflow and see how this all builds together, starting with this crucial preparation phase.
Think of these first 3 steps, planning, research, and learning, as laying your foundation. Step 1 is planning. Before you do any actual work, you're going to open up a tool like ChatGPT to brainstorm ideas, prioritize your tasks, and break a massive project down into smaller, bite-sized steps. Honestly, getting a clear, structured plan generated in 5 minutes saves you at least an hour of overwhelming paralysis later on. You'll know exactly what needs to be done. From there, we move into gathering facts in Step 2, and finally, absorbing complex topics in Step 3. Let's look at the specific tools that absolutely dominate these next 2 steps and start adding up our saved time.
So, during Step 2, research, Perplexity AI is going to be your absolute best friend. We all know standard chatbots have a habit of, well, hallucinating facts, which forces you to spend hours fact-checking the AI itself, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of using it, doesn't it? Perplexity, on the other hand, acts like your own dedicated, highly accurate researcher. It goes out, gathers reliable information, compares various sources, and most importantly, it verifies facts with actual, clickable citations. You can instantly see exactly where the data is coming from. Just this step alone can easily shave 2 hours off your weekly research and endless Googling time.
Then, for Step 3, learning, we turn to NotebookLM. Guys, this tool is an absolute game changer. Let's say you're a freelancer researching a new client, or maybe a student, and you get handed a massive, dense 50-page PDF. NotebookLM instantly summarizes it. It generates study guides, builds FAQs, but here is the really mind-blowing part. It can even turn that dry PDF into an engaging 2-person audio podcast. You can literally listen to it at the gym or while you're walking the dog. What used to be 3 agonizing hours of dense reading is suddenly a 10-minute commute listen. Boom! That is another 3 hours handed right back to you.
Now we hit Section 3, Phase 2, create and polish. With our research and planning totally locked in, we move into the actual execution and creation of the work.
Now, notice how this acts like a beautifully orchestrated relay race. Writing, design, voice, editing, and publishing. This right here is the central narrative of a pro workflow. The baton gets passed incredibly smoothly from one specialized tool to the very next. Writing hands off to design, which then moves to voice, then editing, and finally reaching your audience through publishing. Let's break down the specialized tools that make this relay race so incredibly fast, and let's tally up the rest of those 10 hours we promised.
Step 4 is all about writing. And let's be real, staring at a blinking cursor on a blank page is where most people lose the will to live, let alone hours of their day. This is where you use Claude or ChatGPT to completely bypass writer's block. Whether you need a blog post, a script, or a detailed report, you aren't asking the AI to write the final perfect version. No, you're using them to generate a sort of clay draft, something you can then mold and refine with your own unique expertise. Instantly having a professional first draft structure saves you at least 2 hours of agonizing typing and starting from scratch.
Next up, Step 5 tackles the visual elements.
You pass the baton from your writing AI over to Canva AI. You do not need a degree in graphic design for this, and you certainly don't need to spend an hour trying to align a text box that absolutely refuses to center. You just take the concepts you wrote and instantly generate professional graphics. Whether you need YouTube thumbnails, engaging social media graphics, polished infographics, or high-level presentations, what used to take 2 hours of tweaking complex layouts now takes, quite literally, minutes. So let's add another 2 hours to our saved time total.
And step 6 brilliantly illustrates how this multi-tool mindset works in practice. Let's say you're creating an educational video, a podcast, or a presentation that needs a voiceover. You're going to use ElevenLabs. Instead of buying a super expensive microphone, clearing your throat 50 times, and spending an hour re-recording awkward takes just because a dog barked outside, you simply feed the AI your finalized script. It produces studio-quality narration in seconds. Handing that incredibly frustrating process off gives you back at least another hour of your week.
Finally, we hit step 7, where an editing tool like CapCut acts as your finish line. You bring in your visuals from Canva, your audio from ElevenLabs, and you use CapCut's AI features to seamlessly add auto captions and effects with basically one single click. That easily saves you another 2 hours of tedious video editing and syncing. And that leads right into step 8, publishing. Applying AI for SEO titles and descriptions ensures you reach the right audience instantly. The relay race is complete. And hey, if you've been keeping track of our math, an hour on planning, 2 on research, 3 on reading, 2 on drafting, 2 on design, and 3 on audio and editing, we have very comfortably saved well over 10 hours.
All right, section 4, common mistakes. Because the crucial point here is that having access to all these amazing tools just isn't enough if you fall into some really common behavioral traps.
You've got to avoid these amateur mistakes if you actually want to keep those 10 hours. First up, do not use AI without a plan. You'll honestly just generate noise faster. Second, remember our relay race concept? Do not expect one AI to do absolutely everything. Third, never, ever skip fact-checking. A hallucination can ruin your professional reputation in a heartbeat, which is exactly why we rely on Perplexity. Fourth, don't ignore the quality of your prompts. What you put in absolutely dictates what you get out. And finally, perhaps the biggest productivity killer of them all, shiny object syndrome. Are you changing tools every single week? Constantly switching your tech stack means you're always learning how to use the tool rather than actually doing the work. Just pick a stack and stick to it.
Which brings us to our final section, section 5, your new daily routine. Bringing it all together, the absolute biggest benefits come when you start with a simple process, refine it, and most importantly, use it consistently.
This quote perfectly summarizes everything we've looked at today. Artificial intelligence doesn't replace productivity systems, it improves them. The people who are actually getting the biggest benefits from AI, the ones actually saving 10+ hours a week, aren't necessarily the ones using the most expensive tools. They're simply using the right workflow consistently. They research with one tool, write with another, design with another, and edit with another. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you currently working for your tools, or are your tools finally working for you? Looking at this 8-step system, how are you going to redesign your routine today to get your Friday back?